ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सच्चिदानंदरूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदांतवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। स्वसुखनिपृतचेतास्तद्व्युतस्तान्यभावोऽप्यजितरुचिरलीला आकृष्टसारस्तदीयं व्यतनुतकृपया यस्तत्त्वदीपं पुराणं तमखिलवृजिनघ्नं व्याससूनुं नतोऽस्मि। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। माधव उमाधवावीशौ सर्वसिद्धिविदायिनौ वन्दे परस्परात्मानौ परस्परनुतिप्रियौ वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। So on this day of celebration, we pray to the universal divine fathers, Sri Shiva and Vishnu, who remain combined as one in themselves as Vagarthaviva, as speech and its meaning. Sri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha. Sri Shivaya Gurave Namaha. In the last session we did this 21st verse. कलिमागदमाज्ञाय क्षेत्रेऽस्मिन् वैष्णवा वयम् आसीना दीर्घसत्रेण कथायां सक्षणा हरेः. So we the sages, Shaunaka, etc., apprehending the arrival of the Kali age, we have engaged ourselves in this huge Vishnu Vaishnava sacrifice in Vaishnava Kshetra and Naimisharanya with sufficient time at our disposal for Harikatha. That is what we discussed. And today is the 22nd verse. So before the verse, Sridhara has a small introduction to the verse. This is what Sridhara writes. Asmimscha samaye, that is in this time of Kali, Tvad darshanam ishwarenaiva sampadidam. Your darshanam, that is the darshanam of Suta Maharshi, Ishwarena sampadidam, has happened because of the grace of Ishvara. Iti abhinandanti. So the Shaunakadi rishis, they are congratulating, they are greeting Suta, saying that only by divine providence will we are able to meet you. So that is how Sridhara introduces this verse. Now let us look at the verse itself. Tvannas sandarshito dhatra dustaram nistitirshatam Kalim Sattvaharam Pumsam Karnadhara Ivarnavam. So that is the verse. The Padacheda would be Tvam Naha Sandarshitaha Dhatra Dustaram Nistitirshatam Kalim Sattvaharam Pumsam Karnadhara Iva Arnavam. The Anvaya would be Pumsam sattvaharam arnavamiva dustaram kalim sthitirshatam nah karnadhara iva tvam dhatra sandarshitaha. So, tvam means you. You means Suta Maharshi. Because Shaunaka is saying this to him. Sandarshitaha. This is a causative. Have been shown. So you have been shown. Naha. Naha means like asmakam naha. Naha means asmakam. To us. So to us you have been shown. By who? Kena. Dhatra. Dhatra means it is the singular of instrumental case like Ramayana. Ramayana means by Rama. Like that, Dhatra means by Data. Dhata Dhataro Dhataraha, Dhataram Dhataro Dhatraha, Dhatra. Tritiya Ekvachanam. Dhatra means by Parameshwara, by Ishvara, by Dhata. Nistitirshatam. For people who are desirous of crossing over. Nistitirsha means like Jijnasa. Jnatum Icha is Jijnasa. Tartum Icha is Titirsha. So those who are desirous of Tartum, of crossing over. Of what? Dustaram, which is very difficult to cross over. Kalim, this samsara. Sattvaharam, that deprives you of all your good qualities or takes away all your energies because of the distractions of this Kali age. Pumsam, of people. Karnadhara iva. Karnadharaha means the person who is at the helm of the ship captain, that the person who controls the mast of the ship, helmsman. Tadiva, like that. Arnavam, of the ocean. So he is being likened to the ship captain who can easily take you across the ocean. That's how Shaunaka is comparing Suta. So the meaning is, by the creator Dhata, Parameshwara, you have been clearly pointed out as the helmsman of the ship to us, Shaunakadi Maharshis, who are desirous of crossing this ocean in the form of Kali, the samsara. That's how Sridhara puts it. The word Kali is interpreted by Sridhara as samsara here, which is difficult to be crossed over and which deprives men of goodness or strength as applied to the ocean. When you are trying to struggle against the ocean, you have no chance. You can use all your energy, but still you will be exhausted. So that's why Sridhara here writes, Sattvaharam means Arnavam Kalim Samsaramiva. It is like samsara is like an ocean that saps the sattvam or energy of the seekers, of the sadhakas who are struggling while desiring to cross this ocean. Titirshatam nistartum ichatam. People who are desirous of tartum, taranam kartum. Karnadharaiva, like a captain. Asmimscha samaye toddarshanam ishwarena sampaditam. That's what Sridhara writes. So now our seeing you at this point of critical time before the advent of this Kali Yuga, that is because of Ishwara's prasada. So Shaunaka is stating that meeting a guru like Suta is due to the grace of Dhata, who is none other than Parameshwara. This word Dhata, it has come before many times. Generally it is the name of Brahma, but it is applied to Shiva and Vishnu as well. It is applied to Ishvara basically. Because the word Dhata means one who supports, one who sustains the entire universe. That is the meaning of Dhata. So the one who supports and sustains the universe is Dhata. It comes from the same, the word Dhru Dharana Poshnayoho. It is the same word which is the root for Dharma also. The word Dharma also comes from Dhru. Dhata also comes from Dhru Dharana Poshnayoho. So we can say by leading a Vedic lifestyle, the consequent phalam of any result is dharma. So if you do dharma, you get dharma as the result. both the cause, that is the Vedic lifestyle, and the result of that lifestyle, which is known as punya, is also dharma. So it's basically dhata who, in the form of dharma, sustains the society. So dhata holding this universe means what? He holds it in the form of dharma. Dharma means an order, the moral order. So if one can recognize dhata or Bhagavan as this order of dharma, then it is very easy for them to commit to this ethical actions, to commit to dharma in our actions. According to the Bhagavatam, we saw that in the last classes, the entire universe is born or it's carried by this thousand-hooded serpent who is called as Adishesha or Ananta, whose avatara was Balrama. So it is indeed Ananta or Bhagavan who is supporting this universe. But it takes a lot of dharma in the form of punya to recognize this fact that it is Bhagavan who sustains everything, not us. To have a comfortable family around us, a pleasant cultured family background, a comfortable living, a guru who can teach this Atma Vidya, all this is because of dharma or punya. So therefore, in any culture where Veda is not there, the word punyam or dharmam cannot be talked about. Because if you don't have Vedic culture, you don't have the word dharma or punyam. That's what the Mahabharata says. Yato Vedas tato dharmaha. Wherever there is Veda, then there is talk about dharma. So if you need dharma, you need Veda. Yato dharmas tato mokshaha. And only if you have enough dharma, then only you can talk about freedom of self. 90% of the people are not aware of this idea that they are already free. All humans are fit to be free. They don't have this idea because of this lack of dharma orientation. Because why they are not aware of this? That is because dharma or punyam is apaurushaya vishaya. It is not purusha vishaya. It is not available for human perception. And therefore, where Veda is talked about, Veda always talks only about dharma. And Veda is also apaurushaya. It is also not talking what is usually understood by our senses. That is not the subject matter of Upanishads. That Upanishads, they talk about moksha. Moksha is otherwise known as Atma. Atma means independent consciousness. That is what Atma is. Atma is something which is not supported by anything else. Atma is the support of everything, but it is not supported by anything else. It is always independent. It is always mukta, independent consciousness. It is chaitanyam. That is what Atma is. That is why it is also known as Atindriyam, which is beyond our indriyas, which is beyond our human perception. In the Bhagavatam, when they talk about Sri Krishna, he is presented as Satchit Swarupa. He is presented as Chit Swarupa. Chit Swarupa means what? Pure consciousness, who cannot be accessed through our perception. You cannot see him with your naked eyes, with your senses. Bhagavan cannot be studied like object, like with logic, or he cannot be studied through pariksha or your experiments. You cannot experiment him. It is not like the God particle. Krishna is not available for that experiments. We can learn or we can experience consciousness through matter a little bit. We do experience consciousness through matter. But pure consciousness, free from matter, free from jada, that is independent consciousness, it can never be understood without pramanam. Without Shastra pramanam, maximum we may know is consciousness as a phenomenon, tukada consciousness. A phenomenal consciousness Consciousness means the phenomenon of brain or phenomenon of some organ or something other. But you may not know it as independent of any neurological phenomena. The consciousness which is independent of neurological phenomenon or consciousness independent of brain, it can be revealed only by Shastra. And this Shastra can be understood when it is handled by a Shastrajna. A Shastrajna who can handle this Shastra very well is known as a Guru. So then, all the words that you know, like I, you, these known words, are handled in such a way, in a very unique way, by the Shastrajna, so that the meaning of the Shastra is clear, it is revealed. You have no magic trick to figure out or identify this person, this Guru. A teacher can only prove himself worthwhile as a teacher by teaching. By this process of teaching, he can prove. For this, he has to make you see, make you understand what you need to see or need to know. Nothing less is going to make him a teacher. So to find out, a teacher is to find exactly what he is teaching. Or the teaching itself you have to be discovering. So if he is able to make you see very clearly that you are already free, then only he can be called as a teacher. In Guru Gita, there is a verse talking about this teacher. This is the verse in Guru Gita. Gukaras tvandhakarasyat rukaras tan nivartakaha andhakara vinashitvat gururit yabidhiyate. There are two letters in this word teacher, Guru. Gu means covered up or darkness in the form of ignorance. And Ru means Rokna, to tan nirodhakaha, a person who is nivartakaha, one who removes it, removes the darkness. Thus, a Guru is the one who removes darkness of ignorance by teaching you the Shastram. The teaching of Shastra is handled in a certain way, in such a way so that the meaning about the words that Shastra is talking comes out clearly. The words are already there and the meaning is also already there. The only need is to connect them, handle it in a certain way so that you comprehend it, you understand. Just as a statue is chiseled out of a stone, the rock is already there, but the sculptor can already see the statue inside the rock. Similarly, the teacher brings out the meaning which is already existent in these words, out of the words. And the learning also is not a matter of blind belief and faith. It takes a little bit of bhakti and shraddha, which is called as commitment to learning. If he has that commitment, then the student, it is very easy for the student to see the reality about himself. The Shastra says that the person is already free. Everyone is Purna, free from this sense of limitation which we experience. And so, because you are already Purna, you must know that. And since Atmajnanam is our goal, and Shastra is a means of knowledge or pramanam to remove this Viparita Bhavana or wrong notion, everyone should give a try. That's what the Mahabharata says in the Adi Parva, first chapter, 61st verse. Vyakhyadum kusala kejit granthan dharayitum pare. So there are many seekers who enjoy Vyakhyanam or explanation of this scripture. They would like to explain it and enjoy dharanam. Some others, dharana means retaining them verbatim, word by word. They know all the slokas. Why? Hoping that one day or the other they will gain purnatam or perfection. Unless it is already there in you, you cannot gain it. So that's what the Shastra says. You already are Purna. But until you know that the seeker identity, it continues until he or she inquires into what the Shastra says and sees it with the help of a traditional teacher. The main reason why we are not able to see this simple thing which Shastra says is because normally people have what is called as this performance orientation, because whatever we have attained in this life we have done through by doing. Because of performance we have got all these attainments, and which is a normal thing. If you don't do, you don't get. This is normally desirable as it helps with getting tangible results. But when we have a performance orientation in the study of Shastra, seemingly there is nothing to perform. What do you do with the Shastra? Bhagavatam, what do? You just listen to it. And so the seeker, he feels very restless and he converts all the teaching of Bhagavatam into should and should not, and then try to perform it. And there is nothing to perform because Bhagavatam clearly says, Muktihi hitva anyatha rupam swaswarupena avasthitihi. Mukti is nothing but giving up the wrong notions and being as oneself. Because this I am already accomplished. You don't have to go and accomplish this I. All we have to do is we have to know this. And in order to do this, first you should be very relaxed. We need to learn how to relax in studying the Shastra. But when you properly start studying it, we learn how to relax, how to trust the teacher and the pramana. This trust is called as Shraddha. That I have to be taught and I have the right teacher and I'm committed to this Bhagavatam and I'm willing to acquire the adhikaritvam or eligibility as mentioned in the Shastra. This is what helps one to relax. Because the Shastra is seemingly external to me, it's outside me, and it is being taught by a teacher. So I need to have Shraddha that if I look into the Vedas, into the Nigama and Agamas, with the help of the Guru, I will see the truth of myself. And this Shraddha grows once you start having it, it grows with time slowly. Because you try all avenues, you explore, and you do not find anything as sophisticated and with such deep clarity as this Vedic literature. But for the restless, it is one guru after another, one technique after another, one institution after another. The same attitude if you have towards your eye, that what does the eye do? It is the only pramana for visual perception. If you want to see something, you cannot use anything else in the world. You only have to use eye. This has to be transferred to the Shastras. So in order to know yourself, Shastram is the pramanam. That Shraddha you should have. Bhagavan also confirms this. He clearly says this, that the process of gaining knowledge from a teacher in the 4th chapter, 24th verse in the Gita. The verse is, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Which means, hey Arjuna, know that which is to be known, tatil vidhi. How? Pranipatena, approaching with humility. Pariprasnena, by asking appropriate questions. Sevaya, and by service. Tattvadarshinaha, those who are wise, who have the vision of truth, they will teach you this. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So Krishna explains how this jnaninaha do jnana yajnam. Jnana yajnam means you don't require anything. You don't require like twigs or fire, or all you require is an inquiring mind. That's all you need for jnana yajna. But in any yajna means an action, you need two people. So you cannot do it all by yourself. So first you need a proper teacher. That's why he said tad vidhi, know from a teacher. The next stipulation is that you yourself should be proper. The property of the teacher and the student is all that counts in Jnana Yajna. Both of them should have propriety. So in this verse, Krishna says, Tadvidhi, meaning understand, meaning understand how this knowledge is to be gained. By what means, by what karanam this is to be gained. And then he goes on to explain three things: Pranipata, Seva, and Pariprasna. These three are described as necessary means towards gaining this self-knowledge. Pranipata is approaching the teacher with humility. Pariprasna is asking appropriate questions. And then Seva, serving the teacher. So the first one, Pranipata, it implies an attitude of certain humility on the part of the student. Since I want to learn, and since I have found a teacher, I therefore approach the teacher with an attitude of openness. I'm ready to give a benefit of doubt to this teacher. I'm ready to give up my ahankara, my ego, because I'm serious about self-knowledge. This giving up of ahankara is an important attitude, and that manifests as pranipatam, pranipata or namaskara. The next one is pariprasna. Pariprasna is asking appropriate questions at the right time, taking into consideration the context of what is being taught. An example of an appropriate question is there in the 50th verse of Vivek Chudamani of Adi Shankara. This is the question the student asked there to the teacher. Ko nama bandha kathamesha agata katham pratishtasya katham vimoksha Kosava anatma paramah ka atma tayor viveka katameda duchyatam. Ko nama bandhaha. What is the bondage that the Shastra is talking about? Katam esha agataha. How did this bondage come about? How does this bondage continue to survive? Katham vimokshaha. How can we free ourselves from this or give up this persistent samsara? Kosau atma. What is atma? Kosau anatma. What is anatma? How can one differentiate between what is self and what is other than self? This is called pariprasna, meaning specifically directed questions. That is pariprasna. And from this 50th verse on, the entire Vivek Chudamani is trying to answer these 7 questions. Similarly, in the Bhagavatam also, this first chapter we are concluding in the next class. It is called Prashna Adhyaya. The entire, the 6 questions which are posed by Shaunaka to Sudha, that is being answered as the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So whenever appropriate, such questions should be asked because the subject matter is something that must be understood. And this type of questioning is what is meant by Pariprasna by Bhagavan. The last one is Seva or service to the teacher. Anything that can be done for the teacher by you should be done. This is a very common aspect of the teacher-student relationship in any culture. While the student is gaining the knowledge, especially here in Bhagavatam, there is no other transaction involved. There is no give or take or anything. It's an attitude. Seva is an important attitude for gaining Atma Vidya or the knowledge of self. And what happens if all these are sincerely observed? The teacher who have been won over by your bhakti or devotion and your shraddha and commitment to knowledge, he will teach you and will give you this jnanam or knowledge. So that is what is being mentioned by Shaunaka as Tunnas Sandarshito Dhatra. By Dhata, you have been clearly pointed out as Karnadharaha, as the helmsman of the ship to us. nistitirshatam, who are desirous of crossing this ocean in the form of samsara. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषा गो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति शांति।